Alan Watts' The Wisdom of Insecurity is a profound exploration of the human condition, specifically our persistent attempts to find lasting security in a world inherently defined by change. Watts doesn't offer simplistic solutions, but instead guides the reader towards a fundamental shift in perspective, from clinging to the illusion of permanence to embracing the present moment with all its uncertainties. The core argument of the book rests on the idea that our incessant pursuit of psychological security, of trying to find a solid, unchanging ground, is the very source of our anxiety and unhappiness. Watts draws heavily on Eastern philosophies, particularly Zen Buddhism, to illustrate his points. He emphasizes the concept of impermanence, anicca in Buddhist terms, highlighting that everything, from our thoughts and feelings to the physical world around us, is in constant flux. Our attempts to resist this flow, to solidify and grasp onto things, create tension and suffering. It's like trying to hold onto water. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips through your fingers. This fundamental misunderstanding of reality leads us to project our desires and fears onto the future, constantly seeking a point of arrival where we will finally be happy and secure. However, as Watts points out, this future never arrives, and we are perpetually trapped in a cycle of striving and dissatisfaction. A key insight from the book is the notion of the false self, or the ego. Watts argues that our sense of self is largely constructed from social conditioning, learned behaviors, and memories of the past. We identify with this constructed self, believing it to be a fixed and permanent entity that needs to be protected and defended. This identification, however, prevents us from experiencing our true nature, which Watts suggests is more akin to the boundless and interconnected nature of the universe. Think about how much energy we spend worrying about what others think of us, trying to maintain a certain image, or clinging to past achievements or failures. All this effort is directed towards protecting a fragile ego, which is ultimately an illusion. The Wisdom of Insecurity provides a pathway to liberation from this self-imposed prison through the practice of mindfulness and present moment awareness. By paying attention to our thoughts and feelings without judgment, we can begin to see them as fleeting events rather than as solid aspects of our identity. This allows us to detach from our anxieties and fears, realizing that they are simply passing phenomena. Watts encourages us to embrace the uncertainty of life, to accept that we don't have all the answers, and to find joy in the process of becoming rather than in the illusion of having arrived. To relate this to daily life, consider the stress of a demanding job. We might feel immense pressure to perform well, fearing failure and its consequences. Watts would suggest that this anxiety stems from clinging to the idea of job security as a source of lasting happiness. By recognizing that our job is just one aspect of our life, and that our worth as individuals is not dependent on our performance, we can begin to release some of that pressure. Instead of fixating on future outcomes, we can focus on doing our best in the present moment, finding satisfaction in the work itself. Similarly, in relationships, the fear of rejection or abandonment often leads to insecurity and controlling behaviors. By embracing the impermanence of relationships and focusing on appreciating the present connection with our partner, we can foster greater trust and intimacy. Ultimately, the Wisdom of Insecurity is a call to awaken from our self-imposed illusions and embrace the freedom that comes from accepting the ever-changing nature of reality. It is a guide to living more fully in the present, finding joy in the everyday, and discovering the wisdom that lies within insecurity.